everyone, this is Tara Furiani.
And I'm Justin Boggs.
And you're hanging out with Not the HR Lady,
a web series about all things people.
No BS. Look, HR is not a four-letter word.
And this is not the HR Lady.
We got coffee in our cups today, so we're extra energetic.
Yeah.
We need it.
I'm going to try not to spill it on myself like I did last season.
I think that would be a good plan. Very good plan. So hello and welcome.
Yes.
It's Not the HR Lady back at you for season 4. We're actually
season
in the middle.
Season 2, episode 4.
Oh, shit. Oh, but maybe that was a premonition.
I can't wait for season 4.
That's pretty exciting, actually, now that I said that. We have having a really good second season.
Yes, we are.
And a really good first season. So season 4 is going to be fucking epic. Much like the snowstorm that we're having here in Austin, Texas.
Crazy, like freezing weather. Like this morning it was 9 degrees.
9 in Texas.
Ugh.
In Austin. Bananas.
Ugh.
It's so snowy and gross out there.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Which has inspired us to watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, it has. A lot of movies.
Times.
A lot of movies.
And as I was writing this show, I was thinking about one that we watched not too long ago, which was The Net. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
With Sandra Bullock?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it was in 1995, by the way. I was an astonishing 14 years old. Were you born?
Yes, I was born. What do you mean? Was I
kidding.
born? Absolutely. I was having fun playing in the blizzard of 95 in Ohio. I was out in the snow.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, the blizzard of 95. It was like 4 feet of snow.
Get out of town. That's crazy.
Maybe like 3 feet, but it was insane.
I don't know about that.
I remember going out the back porch and like digging tunnels in the backyard, like igloo tunnels. Real thing.
That's scary. Like your mom and dad let you do that?
Yeah, it was fine.
I'd probably let the kids.
Yeah, it was fun.
Until there was an
really,
avalanche
really
and one of them strapped. It's going to be Nico, 100%.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this movie while I was watching the show because there's a scene right at the beginning. But instead of us telling you about
It's like the opening scene.
The opening scene, yeah.
So we're not spoiling.
Yeah, we're not spoiling the film if you haven't seen it. But I mean, it was 1995. So I don't know how long do you wait before you do spoil it? What's the grace period?
Yeah, there's got to be a certain time there.
I think like 25 years is probably sufficient.
Okay.
So let's check out the clip really quick. Okay, so like, here's the thing. I lived through this era. And the one thing I know for certain is that online pizza ordering was not a thing at all. Like
AOL was barely a thing.
Yes.
It had like 3 million people.
3 million members worldwide. AOL had 3 million.
Yeah.
In 95. So like nobody was ordering pizza online.
No, you were going online to the chat room or checking your email, and you were logging off because you only have 2,000 hours.
That's right. And you have to make up a new screen name if you want to use another disk. Yeah. We were cheap. We were all cheap.
I think everybody did that.
Cheap.
So how many of those 3 million members were actually just like duplicate accounts of people?
Like at least 6 of them was me. Like 6 of those 3 million was me in 95. Yeah. And I really did have AOL back then. I was 14. So like I was super excited. That's all they talked about. And then this movie, The Net, came out and it made it kind of even more exciting. Like, what? You could build a pizza. You could see little toppings fall on. And here's a funny thing that happened on that note. When we were researching the show and getting the clip pulled together, both of us remember this clip and we just watched it. We just watched it. So it's really weird Mandela effect sort of thing, I think.
That like we saw when she clicked the toppings fell onto the pizza. Onto the pizza.
Yes, 100%.
And we were like, oh, that's perfect. That's going to be like great. And then we watched it, and that is not at all what happened.
As you guys saw, that is not what happened.
But I swear we saw that in the movie.
I swear we did too.
Ugh.
So if you also remember the toppings appearing on the pizza, please make a comment below because we cannot be the only ones who are crazy and having this crazy Mandela effect thing. And if you don't know what the Mandela effect is, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now because I will. And we'll be here for 3 days. But you should definitely Google it because it's a weird phenomenon.
It really is. And the fact that like Pizza Hut actually tried it out.
So I want to talk about this. Tell us about it.
Yeah, like they tried it out in 94 and it was only available in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, Santa Cruz, California. Just a pilot. And
Just
if you
a
don't know,
pilot.
Santa Cruz is like a pretty small. Okay, if you have ever seen the movie The Lost Boys, Santa Cruz is where they filmed that movie with the boardwalk scene. That's Santa Cruz. If you've ever seen, is it Us?
Yes.
Us is also filmed there. So if The Lost Boys is before your time and Us is a little more familiar, also filmed, that is Santa Cruz. So that's what we're talking about. It's a very small town outside of San Francisco.
So that was the only place that they put this out at first.
Yep.
And the first ever pizza ordered online was a large pepperoni, mushroom, and extra cheese pizza.
Yep. And it was in 1994.
That was the very first pizza ever ordered online.
Yep. And Pizza Hut's name for this, which is also the name they went with in the movie, is Pizza Net. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it is.
So what's really interesting is that Pizza Hut has also been they're a pizza company, right?
Right.
But they're also a tech company.
Yeah.
And they have been doing innovation forever, like with this whole online ordering thing. Now, again, that was a full year before the movie premiered. So that's kind of interesting. But in 2003, they actually came up with a way not only to online order, but to pre-order up to a week in advance so that you could get your stuff ready for Super Bowl or whatever. Like, if you were planning an
Just
event.
kind of like have it in the cart.
And then it just shows up.
Just ready to go.
No, you just do it and you pre-order it.
Yeah.
You just set it for a different time, pay for it and everything, and don't think about it again. It just shows up at your home. So they started that in 2003, which I think is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
And then they actually launched the very first national pizza chain's Facebook page. They were the first pizza chain to ever have a Facebook page too in 2007. So they've been on like the digital tip for like a long, long bit.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't it?
Like that's like a pizza company decided like, you know what?
We're gonna innovate technology.
We're gonna innovate the hell out of this. I do want to talk about last week's episode a little bit.
Tell us.
And live show. I think it was such a great show.
I agree.
All about gender and LGBTQ and pronouns. Like I think that was a very, very important topic to talk about, and we got a lot of feedback from it and a lot of great comments and questions that I feel like answered a lot of the questions that people were having. And thank you, Rob Roy Chalmers, Lauren.
Yes.
Bornstein. Damn it. I knew I was going to mess that up. Bornstein. You got it right. If you haven't seen the live show, you should go watch the live show for that.
I got it right first.
She got it right first. And
then I immediately got it wrong by correcting myself over my right. Always trust your gut. That's the moral of this story.
But Wendy Sellers and William Taylor, thank you so much for joining us for that talk.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yes. Cheers to you.
Speaking of pronouns, LinkedIn, which we are on a lot. Many of our fans know us from that platform.
Yes.
And they actually don't have a place where you can put your pronouns in. You have to add it yourself. Everybody knows this, right? At this point, we've talked about this.
Yeah, you have to add it to your last name.
To your last name, yeah. So it's like Furiani, she, her, right?
Yeah.
And over the summer, many of us who are influencers in the people space, I hate the term influencer, but like people who have a large engaged following, many of us were banned, actually.
Yeah, for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, for some of it was for the she, her.
Right.
Some of it was for something that somebody else commented on your page.
Right.
And then there was like, you said fuck.
I did. I said the fuck word.
And then immediately like banned. And it was just like, what the hell is going on?
What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck?
What the f is going on? Apparently,
and
that's how you have to say it.
And it wasn't necessarily all about the words you were saying, but it was their AI.
So that's really interesting.
Was flagging her page and a lot of other people's pages that are big influencers on LinkedIn, because that's just their AI is doing that automatically and not sending it over for someone to review or anything. Like we thought We feel like that's how that should have gone.
Right.
No, they see that and the AI just shuts it down.
And then human intervention comes later if you dispute it.
Yeah.
So it's a terribly flawed system because
Very.
like I wasn't, the word
They're working on it.
people were calling people the N-word who weren't banned.
Yeah.
And which
But
was
you say fuck
but I
or
say
shit.
fuck.
And it's like, nope, you're gone.
Yeah,
And it's
somebody
like,
somebody called Kamala Harris on my post an N-word and a couple of N-word, C-word, all the words.
Yeah.
And I'm like literally sending screenshots on my ban going like, and these people get to stay? So the thing is that tech is flawed. So we'd all like to think that there's some like evil, racist, misogynist, horrible person sitting around watching our every move on LinkedIn. But the reality is that they use AI and technology to monitor at a very base level. Human intervention comes later, but there are 740 million users on LinkedIn.
That can't. It's not going to work.
You
that
have
way.
to use tech. Hello.
Yeah, like you have to, but you have to make sure your tech is working properly.
Their tech fucked up, and it cost them. And that's the reality of this situation is that yes, technology is awesome, and we shouldn't be scared of it. We should embrace different ways. That's why the whole episode's called like "Don't Fear the Tech," right? But tech's a little scary when it's not appropriately managed and you're not asking the right questions of your tech providers, and it's not making a place that allows for inclusivity at the jump. What they did, whatever program they used, and I don't know what company they partnered with. I don't know if they built it in-house. I don't know what they did. But whatever they did absolutely was not run through any kind of DEI expert to talk about like language inclusivity and to ensure that they weren't tagging specific keywords that would create an uninclusive and unintended ban.
Yeah.
Because I have like 18 million apologies from LinkedIn for every time they reinstated me.
Yeah, you eventually got a person that was
I did.
like kind of assigned to you.
I do. I have a person. And I'm grateful that I haven't had to use that person in a while because they've seemed to figure it out a little bit. But I guess that's the point is that we can't just rely on technology to be anti-racist, to be anti-sexism, anti-misogynistic, anti-bigot. Like we can put things in place, but there's definitely still a human factor. And there's lots of room for error. Things have to evolve.
Yeah. Like I feel like that their tech was definitely in beta form. Like,
definitely.
It was not ready to be rolled out when they did.
You think?
Because it was just kind of all of a sudden.
It was. And then it happened to all of us all at once.
And then like all at once. Within a week, a lot of you got banned. And after you got assigned a person, they were like, we just implemented this new thing. Like, sorry, we're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm like, here's a list of everybody else. So like, cool, thanks for helping me. Here's who else needs help. But that's the thing, right? Tech is imperfect, but that imperfect tech can cost you if you don't have solid strategies on the human side of it.
Absolutely.
So according to an October 2020, so on this show, we really like to do real-time, relevant information. I'm not citing studies from 16 years ago. I'm talking about a study that was just completed just this past year.
Yeah.
At the end of this past year. And it was by Deloitte. 96% of CEOs now consider DEI to be a strategic priority. The protests during the summer certainly amplified our need for systemic change, and not just in our practices. And that's kind of like what I want to talk about today. It's like with our technology too. So wildly glad that 96% of CEOs want to make a change, but it's not enough to just say like, we want to make a change. Yes, we're going to focus on it. Now you actually have to do it, and you have to have the right tools in place to be able to do it effectively. Yeah,
I see what you mean. Like, okay, glad that you said it. Do it.
Yeah.
We don't want we don't want PR.
No.
We want DEI, right?
Yes, DEI, not PR. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And some earlier studies have shown that, organizations with inclusive cultures are twice as likely to meet or exceed their financial targets.
I know.
That's insane. So like, I'm glad that they're seeing that 96% of them, but we need more.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
we need to get to
and, like-
100%.
and, like,
you
hey-
will see the fruit of your inclusiveness.
With cash.
With cash.
Make it rain from people.
Yeah. And they're 3 times as likely to be high performing.
Yeah.
6 times more likely to be innovative.
And agile.
Like these are real studies that people have done. And this is like the proof is in the pudding here. You know, like, come on, people. And they're 8 times more likely to achieve better business outcomes.
Higher multiples, higher
Yes.
exits. Like, hello, stop.
Yeah.
Stop whittling away all the people stuff. People stuff's how you make money.
And you've been talking about the ROI of people long before that study came out.
I have.
Like,
I have. And the reason is that it's twofold, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in an interesting position where I'm so for the people and I'm also for the business. But I also want the businesses to do right by the people. So like there's an interesting juxtaposition I've been talking about for a really, really, really long time. And that is how you quantify and measure what your efforts do with your folks, right? Like, nobody wants to work for a place that treats them badly or doesn't recognize and reward them appropriately from a financial standpoint. Like, I don't want to work at places, not people. I don't want to work at places that harass, demean, sexualize, put me in a position where I'm faced with bigotry. Like, there's so much.
I honestly can't imagine people that do.
I know.
Like, if you want to
know.
work at a place like that, I think Parlor just opened back up.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Like,
Go there. And please get off Clubhouse. We don't need any of that
Yeah.
over there. I've been seeing that a lot more and more lately, and I don't like it. But it doesn't matter how much you offer. Like, if your executive team is just a bunch of assholes, your company is just a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah. There's a sense of like, this is how leadership is when you see jerks at the top. So it inspires others to believe that that's how leadership is, no matter how shitty it actually feels to you. And this is exactly why companies win when they invest in their people strategy. I keep saying people strategy. Like, what does it mean? People strategy means that you're intentionally figuring out your offering, your compensation ranges. You're having executive coaching and leadership development from managers on up, especially with your CEO. If your CEO doesn't have an executive coach, you need one. Immediately, because you don't know your own blind spots, and you're the top of the ball game, and you're an egomaniac. I'm sorry, you are. Like, you just are, and you should take that in for a moment.
Take it in.
And then you should do something about it, because it is critical that you continue your leadership journey no matter what level you're at, and that you have a solid people strategy around it. Not just, here's some tech, here's a program, here's
Around the people.
Right, around the people.
Yeah.
Right? Can't just be like, oh, well, here's the tech, and we're going to hire X number of people this year, and here's our benefit offerings.
Yeah.
It has to be more substantial than that. It needs to be substantial, scalable. You need to invest money in it and have the right resources.
Yeah. Like, equality isn't going anywhere.
It really isn't. It really isn't. We're breaking down the white male patriarchy. That's what systems, computers, and constructs were built on. So we have to. It's the right thing to do. And if that's not enough, if the right thing to do isn't enough, what is?
Like, maybe losing out on talent, will resonate, hopefully.
I mean,
Because you're going to lose all of these really, really, really good people.
Yeah.
Because
And you're gonna lose
you're
cash.
blind.
Yes.
Like,
Well, you don't want to get out of your own way.
yeah.
Invest in your people strategy. And be sure the person you have leading your people strategy knows how to do that too.
Yes.
This is not like an easy thing. It's not even a thing most people are trained on. It's new for a lot of folks. And in the HR discipline, it's really new. And that's kind of sad.
But it's something that, it's one of those things where, like, I feel it is new, but people have been fighting for this for a long time. And it's just now
Popularized is what I'm
now
saying.
it's popularized.
Yeah,
Right.
It's not new. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not new.
Yeah.
But it's a buzzword now, and that's great. it needs to stay a buzzword, and then that buzzword needs to turn into action.
Yeah.
You know, like the got milk, commercials from back in the day. They weren't even commercials back then. They were, pictures in magazines. And so what does it do? That got milk got people to buy milk. So like the dairy industry is like, we're going to breed all the cows. Times are good. Like, it just seems like, unfortunately, we have to keep selling the notion of a people strategy. I don't get why just doing the right thing and creating diverse, equitable, and inclusive organizations and whatever it takes to do that, if culture is truly your thing, then money shouldn't be an object. If culture is truly what you're solving for, a good one that's real and not just words on paper, then investing in it is how you win. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the data.
The proof is definitely in the
pudding,
data.
right? We don't need to talk about Jell-O.
Yeah, we don't need to. Listen up, companies. A 2020 Lenovo and Intel global employee study reported that an organization's DEI policies and performances are significant in a candidates.
Those are employees from Canada. Candidates.
And a candidate's decision to apply.
I'm sorry.
Canada.
I've had like 3 things of coffee.
Canada.
Okay,
but it's significant factors in a candidate's decision to apply or even accept a job.
Yeah.
So, like, people are starting to see this now. Again, like, this has been a fight for a long time, and companies have just kind of been like, kind of get off my foot about
well, and
this,
employees
right?
haven't been asking. Candidates haven't been
Right.
talking about this because we've been told to shut up, right? We're not allowed to talk about pay.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to ask in the first interview, so what's the job pay so I can decide if I want to invest any more of my time? That should be normalizing it. If a company isn't transparent, we should be asking questions like that. So you're right. It's not new, but it is new that candidates are talking about it now.
And half of the employees across all the markets said that DEI is like either very or extremely very important when deciding to take a job or not.
There's actually 3 countries, the US, Brazil, and China, I think, that actually rate it even higher than that, 75% on up. As the importance in the US, Brazil, and in China. And we have a huge international show with a lot of followers. So like, here's the thing. It's not a US problem. This is not here
this
and
is
localized.
Not just home.
No, this is everybody. This is going on everywhere.
When we talk about changing the world of work, we mean the whole world.
Right, not just Texas or just the US or our surrounding states.
No, the whole world.
All of it. There are systemic problems. I'll tell you what, like, I'm really glad. I constantly talk about asking questions during the interview process. And like I said, for companies to disclose pay and be more transparent off the jump to stop wasting candidates' time. But the reason I talk about it is not just to tell companies what to do or to get candidates talking about it. It's like, how do you solve for diversity, equity, and inclusion? You have to talk about the things that people don't talk about, which is what we're doing on this show, which is what we've been doing over a year now.
Well, on that note, I'm going to brag just a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You were just quoted by Sky Schooley for business.com.
I was. That's true.
Yes, you were.
I was.
Reading that whole article was actually really cool. You were quoted more than just one time, like all throughout that article you were. And I want to read a piece from it. So, a piece that she was quoted in. While it may seem counterintuitive, you don't want your chief marketing officer, a woman, whom you just hired, not to have equity because she didn't ask for it, when all of her other C-suite counterparts, men, do. This is how you accidentally create a biased workplace and pay inequality.
Yep. And I meant it.
I want to say congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
On business.com. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
And fighting for that equality and inclusion, right?
It's just critical. You know, the idea about the piece is, you know, several steps that organizations can take when thinking about compensation package design and things like that. And while it may seem counterintuitive in the rest of my quote, but what I was further saying a little bit before that was, it's critical that you have a baseline of like your executives get these offerings, your VPs get these offerings. Now, those monies may change. I mean, not everybody is just going to make the same. That's not realistic.
Right. And that's not what you're saying.
No. In the C-suite, as an example, if you're in the C-suite, you should be entitled to the C-suite package, which looks like equity, a bonus, a base salary, whatever ancillary perks, blah, 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 blah.
If you're entitled to that, that should be disclosed.
Right. That's like the minimum. So that's like the baseline. So establishing just those norms and having a strategy, again, people strategy around compensation. That's people. That's part of it. So having a strategy about how you pay people, it's not. The old way was you would go and, someone would fill out a requisition form or you'd do it through the ATS or like whatever, and you just select the salary range, like yourself, based on whatever your budget was. But that also is not the correct way to do it. It's not just based on your budget. And hear me out, because it is. I mean, you do have financials to think about and stuff, but there should be that same notion of we're hiring this role. Let's look at what other people in the organization of similar role makes.
Yeah.
So that there can be equity amongst people, regardless of what they look like, act like, sound like, pray to, love, etc. So if you have that baseline, just right off the bat, all VPs are entitled to this, all entry level is da-da-da. And it can be tiered, and it doesn't have to be exactly the same numbers in those categories, but there should be absolutely all of those same categories. Like, data can provide objectivity and credibility. And so, like,
absolutely,
knowing this information and having, like, the technology in place to, like, understand who's working for you and where opportunities are, this is how you get these off the ground. And it's so critical to have solid strategy and use tools appropriately.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. But even the best tools rely on humans to follow through.
Right.
So it relies also on people.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, technology can support, objectivity, consistency, and fairness, but no amount of tech or data will work without a deep buy-in. Like,
absolutely,
executive and leadership demonstration, actions when necessary.
Actions when necessary. That means firing the brilliant assholes. That means firing your buddy. If there's anybody in your organization and it's like, that's just Karen.
Yeah.
Karen needs to be fired. If anybody in your organization is like, that's just Chad needs to be fired. Like, if you expect to have a DEI strategy and you don't take action at the executive level on people in your organization who are clearly not aligned with what you're putting in writing as what you believe as a company, when you still support and enable harassment, harassers, just horrible bullying in the workplace, your strategy is bullshit.
That's why, like, you also need that out loud accountability.
That's right.
Like that. You've got to hold people accountable.
Yep. And your own company.
Yep. We can't allow bullies and stuff like this to thrive.
No.
Fuck and fire the brilliant assholes.
Fire them.
Fuck them.
And again,
get them out of here.
I know I've said this before, but like, I don't say brilliant in a positive way. Like, I mean that the justification of, well, he's so contributory, so we can't possibly let him go. He's done all this for us. It's like, yeah, but he fucked that girl, like, at work. I'm sorry. Like, what? Like, no.
He's racist and he knows it, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's homophobic, and he fired that guy and called him an F on the way out. Like, these are all things that actually happen. Like,
it's great that he does this or whatever for your company, but that doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Because do you want to keep him or lose all of these other people?
Yeah, he could be the world's best lead aggregator, but all those leads are going to hate you because nobody wants to work with companies who harbor fucks.
Yeah.
And harboring brilliant assholes is harboring fucks. So
I will say, in the people tech space, there are some who are getting it right.
Definitely. I completely agree.
When it comes to culture and engagement.
Yes.
And we're very proud to partner with one of those. Ph.D. People Element.
I'm so excited.
I am really excited that they have sponsored this episode and the after show that we will be doing. And they have a very similar mission as we do. Simplify this shit. Seriously, just simplify it and people will do it. It's that simple. See what I did there?
I do. I did see.
But it really is. Like, if you simplify it, people will do it.
Yeah.
And they've done just that. So we would like you to see what our friends over at People Element are doing. So check out this video.
Every employee contributes to your success, and every employee's voice is important. Introducing People Element, your employee experience partner. With People Element, you get a world-class platform and expert guidance designed to help you increase engagement, reduce turnover, and enhance your culture, all driving improved business results. Our system works across devices and is optimized to gather feedback from a wide range of employees by leveraging email, SMS, and kiosk, ensuring that all employees have the best chance to share how they feel. Measure the health of your workforce across the employee lifecycle with surveys such as diversity and inclusion, well-being, manager effectiveness, and many more. Preloaded templates with time-tested items simplifies gathering actionable feedback. With the ability to create unlimited on-demand pulse and always-on surveys, People Element makes it easy for you to monitor trends, identify insights, and act quickly to improve organizational performance, all in real time. Areas needing attention are automatically identified, so you can quickly push that information to managers, allowing them to create action plans, focusing efforts where they will have the most impact. Unlike other platform providers, you always receive a dedicated team of experts to guide you along the way and help you make the most out of your data. For a partner that gives you the ease, speed, and confidence to act on the areas that matter the most, trust People Element.
I really like their tool.
I do too. I think it's awesome.
I do too, especially the real-time feedback
Yeah.
that can result in action before things become rampant problems. Like really understanding like triggers and identifiers and coming up with patterns and stuff, because it's so critical to understand those data points and to have that real time feedback to be able to affect change and to make people feel belonging in the workplace. When people are having negative experiences, man, that pulse stuff I think is really important. I'm a big believer in measuring employee satisfaction and engagement. I'm a bigger believer in it coming from the top and being directed by executive leadership, because frankly, you could implement our friends at People Element, and guess what? None of it will make a bit of fucking difference for your organization if you're just implementing another tool so you can check a box that says.
And you can say, hey, we've done this and, let's get the press for it. We've got this thing that we're doing now.
Yeah.
No,
Don't do
you've
that.
got to fucking implement it.
You have to just keep moving, keep going, go forward.
Yes.
And get your executive team on board. And executives, since there are a lot of you who join us, be the change, right? This is not hard. You can really affect dramatic change within your organization, but it has to come from you.
Yeah.
With your direction. People will follow your lead. That's why organizations have the cultures they have. It's largely driven from the top, because the top affects the next level.
Yeah.
And the next level affects the next level. And the next level affects the next level. So if you've worked in an organization that sucks and you're low on the totem pole, be clear that the higher ups suck. If you've worked in an organization that's awesome, a place that you'd recommend to your friends, best believe that the top leadership was awesome. That's just how it works. The only trickle down that actually works in life, because we knew it wasn't economics, but what it is leadership. Leadership 100% trickles down.
Yeah.
Especially when those leaders are taking action when things are not led in the way that measures and relates to whatever values they have in the workplace. All right. We have some tips though. So we're not all doom and gloom and telling you everybody sucks. We have ways for you to get better.
We do.
People Element is one way that you can start your DEI journey again, but make sure you have the right people in place.
Yeah.
And the
You've
right
got to.
the right support behind it.
So
But we do have some tips.
First, words matter. It is critical to be sure your language is inclusive and does not deter job seekers from applying to your company. Like, it is critical to attracting a diverse group of candidates.
Yeah, that doesn't deter job seekers from applying to the company.
Yeah.
That's how you attract a diverse set of candidates. Like, there are a lot of tools that can help you wordsmith to be more neutral.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not going to recommend any of them, but you can definitely do research on finding or reach out to us. We can help. Second, understand the data to identify where the issues and opportunities are. Just looking at people of color, at women, or anybody who's in a marginalized group without digging deeper. Like, if you're just going, well, we have 37% of women in the organization. If you don't dig deeper within those same groups, it would be a true disservice to your efforts, because what your diversity is by level, like what your diversity promotion rates are, what your diversity turnover, both voluntary and involuntary, you need a clear picture of what your organization looks like. That's why data is so important. And then you can figure out what's next.
Yeah. And exactly. And once that data is clear, like, you need to understand the context of those data points.
Yeah.
That helps to explain the numbers.
That's exactly right. This is where things like ERGs, employee resource groups, come into play. And they're a good idea to have. You should definitely invest in those sorts of things. But also consider who is the one leading these groups and gathering this information and what assumptions and biases they may have. Whether they're an internal person or an external person is going to play a big role in deciding if the data can honestly be trusted. Remember, narratives help us understand the perception. So talking to people after gathering data points helps explain the data, helps determine if your organization is in fact equitable, is in fact diverse, is in fact inclusive.
Yeah. And third, align your DEI press releases with action.
That's right.
I think this is one of the most important things, because PR means nothing if you're not committed to improving like diversity, equity, inclusion.
That's right.
Like within your organization, like that has to happen.
Yeah. Like a lack of action.
Yeah.
If you're not walking the talk doesn't matter. And we see you, and we're going to call you out about it.
We have to.
We all have to. People in your organization are going to. I don't mean we. I mean, we might, but your organization and people within it are going to call it and bring negative attention. Like, the thing is you all have the opportunity to change now.
Yeah.
Right now, every organization has the opportunity to align their actual work with the PR strategies they're putting out there related to Black Lives Mattering, related to women, related to the LGBTQ community and the Pride Month and, all these different things. If you're not actually doing good work and it doesn't end up being representative of a more diverse workforce, you might as well just stop, because it's just bullshit. It's just talk, and nobody is here for that.
No. Nobody is.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
And the thing is you can't just dump it on somebody.
No.
This is specific work. You wouldn't hire a plumber to be your CFO, right?
No.
Not if they didn't have the proper CFO credentialing.
Hey, you do really good work. I think you would be great at this job.
Yeah, like
here.
somebody's over here fixing your toilet, and you're like, you know what? You are an amazing employee. I have a CTO job open.
Yeah.
Do you have a finance degree by chance?
No, don't worry about it. Come on over.
Come over. DEI has not been a focus for most. And yes, I'm going to say it, most HR leaders, not even practitioners. I'm talking about leaders. I'm talking about CPO level, heads of HR, heads of people. You may have yourself been someone in a diverse situation, but that does not mean or in a marginalized situation, but that doesn't mean you have experience doing the work, right? Like, you can't stop tapping your one diverse employee to lead this effort. You need an actual strategy around people, which includes this. And it's not been very long that any kind of like certification or continuing education work, etc., has been a thing. So like the worst thing you can do is dump it on your HR people or you're like one marginalized employee and hope for the best. Like, don't just give them the data and be like, here, do something about this. We've realized that we have 96% white people and we don't need that anymore. They don't know what they're doing either, probably.
No. And finally, be transparent about your DEI journey. You must have hard conversations with your teams.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Share the data.
Yes.
Like the transparency in this is crucial. And create a plan that is integrated into your overall business strategy. Key.
Critical.
People. We're talking people here.
Yeah.
Like without the people, there's no business. And define success. Hold your organization responsible for delivering results. Track the results. Be accountable. And share it with the world.
That's the time to bring PR into the mix. We want to hear about this stuff you're doing.
Yes, we're doing this, and here's what we're doing.
Exactly.
And this is what we have found out.
Right.
You know, like our company's doing so much better now because people are happy.
And then you correlate that to actual financial business results.
Yes.
That's a win. Now is the time for organizations who are doing the good work, not just talking about it, but doing the good work to share this with everybody. If you don't have an employee marketing strategy, if you don't even know that you could have an employee marketing strategy integrated into your people strategy to build your employer brand and why that's important, you don't have the right people strategy. We can help.
Yeah. Call us.
Yeah.
Like some free advice for you. I hope you take it.
I hope so. We can give even more customized advice, though, for a fee. And we want to help. Don't go it alone. If you need help in this space, don't put it into the wrong hands. Don't give it to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Let us help you. We can work with your team on building a workplace of belonging and truly understand why a people strategy is critical, not only to your word of mouth and reputational success, but your bottom line financial success. There is a tie-in using data for people analytics, for investing in people. Greed's a bitch. I know that. But it doesn't cost a lot to do the right thing in the people space. Visit notthehrlady.com to learn more about how we can help your organization.
But don't take it from us. Here's Julie Alig, the CEO of JLA Analytics, a data expert, giving us the facty facts.
Ooh, yeah.
So check it out.
Hi, I'm Julie Alig with JLA Analytics, where we bring clarity to chaos using your numbers and our analytics. There are a couple of ways that data can help to support DEI efforts within organizations. And one of the most fundamental ways is it allows you to measure what's going on and keep track of your progress as you work on those DEI efforts. So if you think about it, you can benchmark based on what your current status is. What do those numbers, what does that data look like today? You've got a goal, so you know where you want to go. And then you can track your progress towards that goal. Everyone can see it. It can be very transparent. And it can also be a way for everyone for it to remain on the radar of everyone within your organization. Now, sometimes it's the case where you want to be measuring, you want to be tracking data about something, maybe LGBTQ members of your organization, and you go to look for that data and you find, well, wait a minute, we don't have any. So that's another way that data can actually help DEI initiatives, in the sense that if there isn't any data, that absence of data, that's important. Because if your organization has decided that it's important to be tracking these initiatives, tracking certain types of members of your organization, that sort of thing, but you don't even have the data, my guess is that a lot of people don't even realize you don't even have that data. So once you know you don't, then you can start planning, okay, where do we get it? How do we get it? How do we keep on measuring and collecting that data so that we can track our progress? And then both of those ways that I just mentioned before, they're a way of actually grounding and starting your organization's conversation about DEI. Because let's be honest, having that conversation, that can be difficult. And that can be not just one conversation, it can be multiple conversations with multiple people within your organization at multiple, maybe even locations over a period of time. Having data can be a way to have everyone on the same page, everyone working from the same facts about what's going on. And it can also help with transparency. Everyone can see where we started, where we are now, where we're going, what kind of progress we're making to get to whatever that goal is. And I think that last point really holds not just for data in terms of DEI efforts within HR, but it also holds more broadly for metrics within HR. Really, you can use them to frame your conversation, to even start the conversation, and keep it on the radar of everyone, but also looking at ways of measuring and then course correcting. Because let's face it, we're humans, we're not robots, and sometimes, best laid plans, sometimes you start veering off in one direction or another, you're not going to reach your goal that way. So it allows you to kind of course correct, bring people back, have everyone on the same page, and keep that conversation going. So those are my thoughts. Visit my website at www.jlaanalytics.com for more resources, more information about how data can help in your organization. You can also sign up for my newsletter there. I don't spam people. Also, connect with me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm in Clubhouse rooms, I'm on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. Again, Julie Alig with JLA Analytics.
Julie nails it.
Yes, she does.
Execs like data.
Yeah.
Boards like data. But within the HR space, HR folks are often not competent in data analytics. I sound like I'm dumping all over HR, but HR just gets all the things and gets very little resources. So again, you can't just hope that your HR person can figure it all out, Yeah. Often HR leaders have not had experience with people strategy and aligning HR and the business. And that is why data is so important. And that's how you do it, is by understanding what you're working with, what your data points are in the people space. You can help align it with the business space, and having a people strategy and a business strategy just so together is again how companies win. And I want to give yes, absolutely. They should be working in tandem. It should be collaborative. It's a team effort, and it requires everybody. It's not just HR's issue with, how to figure out our DEI strategy with data. It's not their issue. It's an everybody issue. Yeah. They might be the tactical leaders of it. They might
but it's everybody involved.
Absolutely. I would imagine you'd have business intelligence folks on it, financial. Yes. But I do want to give a quick shout out, since we talked about aligning business strategy with HR strategy, to the Hacking HR conference that is next month in March. And I'm actually speaking and moderating 2 panels on this very topic at the international virtual event that they're hosting. So the link to register is actually on our website, notthehrlady.com. Click events. Hacking HR is a free, huge international conference with currently over 17,000 people attending. It's a great source of information on various different components, but definitely check out my day, which is March 11th. That is sort of the executive day around people. And really a lot of what we're talking about, data and analytics and measuring the ROI of people and developing people strategies, that's really what this day is about. So if you are an executive and you're wanting to learn more, please check it out.
Yes, go check it out.
Yes.
It's that time.
Is it? Is it over?
It's over.
Damn it.
It's time for a wrap. Episode 4.
It's time for a wrap.
Season 2. Yeah.
Okay.
I need a lettuce
Give me a beat,
wrap.
drop a beat.
I need I'm thinking lettuce wrap. I'm hungry.
Oh, when I'm ready to
I need
sing.
a wrap. I need a lettuce wrap.
And
right
I'm
now.
like, Yes.
So this has been episode 4, season 2. Don't fear the tech. We
Thank
wanted to play the song, but we don't have the rights. And
We don't. We don't have the rights for most of the things we play.
No, that's why we try to, we try to give credit and actually put it up where it's from. So it's like, nah.
Please don't sue us.
Please
We really
don't.
don't have anything.
We're not claiming any of it.
No. It's not monetized. Because it's going to be copyrighted
Yeah.
as soon as it goes up. So don't worry about it. I want to thank People Element for sponsoring our 4th episode and sponsoring our live after party. And I'm really excited. It's going to happen here in just a minute. We have a bunch of special and surprise guests joining us.
Yes. Thank you, People Element.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
you.
Yes. And we've got a lot of really exciting guests joining us here in just a few minutes for our live after show. And if you don't know what we're talking about, after every episode of Not the HR Lady, starting with season 2, we have a live after show with guests who appeared on the show. So Julie will be there with us.
Oh.
But I'm not going to say.
Wait.
I'm not going to say who else is coming, but we definitely have some other special guests.
Well, I know it's not Dave Chappelle, but did you get Sandy to appear?
Are we calling Sandra Bullock Sandy now?
She lives in Austin. Like
She does live in Austin.
We're Austinites together. Well, I guess not Austinites, but we're kind of neighbors in the area of Austin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're on first name basis.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, join us immediately following this episode at Assets Not Assholes for the official after party show. Just head there. You're going to go straight to the live stream, assetsnotassholes.com, and chat live with us. You definitely don't want to miss it.
Yes. And join us next week. Same time, same day. Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Yes.
At DEIOrDie.com. And our after show, assetsnotassholes.com.
I love it. I'm Tara Furiani.
And I'm Justin Boggs. And this has been Not the HR Lady. See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Not the HR Lady.
Engage with us on any social platform at Not the HR Lady and visit our website for more people stuff at notthehrlady.com.
New episodes are out every Wednesday and Friday. We'll see you next time.
Bye.